economically viable demographic. Just as most of the fiscal initiatives in the past 7 years have been most adversely affected by the middle class, European democratic socialism virtually plunders theirs. The middle class in Denmark is taxed. Are you ready for this, folks? The middle class in Denmark is taxed at a 60% rate. And that's only just the income tax rate. Yet to pay that rate, all you have to do is make $55,000 a year. That means that those who, by American standards, are earning a respectable middle-class income of $55,000 a year, they only take home $22,000 of their earnings. Stop and think about that a moment, folks. In Denmark, if you're making $55,000 a year, your take-home pay is only $1,833 a month. That's just after income tax. That doesn't count all the other taxes you have to pay, like a 25% sales tax on things you go out and buy. But the important thing is, hey, the government's paying your medical bills, and you don't have to pay for college, right? Anyway, Nissen continues, quote, and this is somebody who lives in Denmark, a gallon of gas is about $10. Now, at the time this was written, it was about $10. Right now, I understand it's around $6.50 or $7. But you know how the price of gas has gone down everywhere a lot right now. You know how low gas is here in America? Right now, gas is only around $6.50 a gallon in Denmark. Now, listen to this one. If you buy a car in Denmark, do you know there's a tax on the car? Now, we have certain taxes, federal taxes, that are applied to things here in America. Like when you go to a hotel. Have you ever noticed you go into a hotel and it's like, oh, how much are your rates? Oh, it's $100 a night. Okay, that's fine. And then you're thinking, and then when they say, okay, here's how much it is totally, it's like $119. You go, wait a minute. Why? I thought it was $100 a night. Well, yeah, but there's taxes. Okay, but in Michigan, it's 6% sales tax. Shouldn't it be $106? No, you don't understand. With hotels, there's additional taxes, including federal taxes that are lopped into there. Same thing with gasoline. When you go fill up your tank and you look, oh, hey, gas, hey, this looks pretty nice. $1.59 a gallon or something, right? You know, out of that $1.59 a gallon, a lot of that, I can't remember what the number is, but a lot of that are actually federal taxes just lopped into there that people don't even know about. Well, that's what they have in Denmark. When you go buy a car, guess what the tax is on the car? 180%. I'm not making that up, folks. 180% tax on a car. What that means is, let's say over in Denmark, you buy a car for $20,000. There it is out on the lot for $20,000. Guess how much you pay for that $20,000 car? About $50,000. You're like, wait a minute, but it says $20,000 on the lot. Yes, I know, but we have to charge you 180% tax. So we have to, while it's $20,000 for the car, you have to pay about an extra $30,000 just in tax. Anyway, the piece goes on. No wonder 65% of the travel in the country of Denmark is by mass transit or bicycle. And not surprisingly, the cost of energy is extremely expensive, as most electricity is produced by green sources. The cost per kilowatt hour of electricity is 42 cents. In the United States, it's an average of 12 cents. So imagine what your electric bill is in Denmark. Keep in mind, folks, here in America, the average cost of electricity in your home is, across America, is about 12 cents per kilowatt hour. In Denmark, it's 42 cents, 3.5 times the cost for electricity per kilowatt hour. Now, are you starting to see why so many people like myself and others go, wait a minute, Denmark is not necessarily this great place to live? Anyway, the piece goes on. Nissen further explains because of excessive taxation, Denmark residents also have the highest private debt in the world. Only few will ever own a car or a house here. Banks generally do, hypocritically, the very same banks that collectivists despise. Anyone who makes over $80,000 a year in Denmark pays a 68% personal tax. This means that almost all people with higher earnings have either found ways to evade taxes or have left the country, often bringing their own companies with them, making employment scarcely low. According to Eurostat, the European Union's official data reporting service, real unemployment is double what the official figures indicate. By their calculations, Denmark's real unemployment rate is 14%. Nissen goes on. Denmark's suicide rate has averaged 20.8 per 100,000 in the last 5 decades, with its highest level of 32. The American suicide rate averaged only 11.1% during the last 5 decades and has never exceeded 12.7. Now, I've heard some conflicting views on the suicide rate in Denmark, so I don't know how accurate that may be, okay? But it goes on to say Danish citizens are deeply deprived, driven by severe narcissism, and so more than 11% of adult Danes, the supposed happiest people in the world, are on antidepressants. Goes on, if Danes are so happy to be economically socialized, why do they take their own lives at 3 times the American rate, and their antidepressant dependency exceeds America's by 40%? And then it goes on to say, everyone wants the American dream. In Denmark, neo-communism, no one will ever know or accomplish anything. America was founded on classical liberal ideals of maximum freedom and to facilitate virtually unlimited potential. And then it goes on to talk about our founding fathers and Benjamin Franklin and the quotes that they have made and everything else. So the suicide rates, I mean, I don't know how accurate that is, okay? And a gallon of gas I know right now is less than $10. But these other things, the rates that people are charged, this is absolutely true. 180% tax on cars. $50,000 you pay for a $20,000 car. If you make $55,000 a year, you're taxed at 60%. If you make $80,000 a year, you're taxed at 68%. And then, of course, a sales tax of 25% when you go buy things. You have to think about all of that kind of stuff. When Bernie Sanders is like, people shouldn't have to pay for higher education. They should be able to go to college for free, tuition free. Folks, is it really free? You know, we're the only industrialized nation that doesn't have universal health care. Well, folks, do you really want to join these socialist nations? Is this what you want to join? Is this what you want to be part of? This is what's unique about the United States. And by the way, when demonizing corporate America, you know the corporate tax rate, the top corporate tax rate in America is 35%. What Bernie Sanders won't tell you is that is the highest corporate tax rate in the industrialized world. That's right, we're the only nation in the industrialized world that has a corporate tax rate that high. And according to Bernie Sanders, that's not high enough. You need to hear the rest of the story, folks, when you start falling for this socialist utopia of we get everything for free from the government. You're listening to The Bob Dutko Show.